Right guys, hello and welcome back to another video. Today on the second channel we're going to be checking out the Andy Anderson Power Pro to Dragon Formula Nano Cubics. A mouthful, I know, but these wheels were gifted to me by a friend of mine. He asked me to test them and make a video, so this is that video, and I've got some things to say, so let's get straight into it. Right, so taking a seat on the very minimum patch of dryness at this park, I'm going to talk to you about my first impressions, what I feel after about 3 months of riding, and a short comparison to some of the other wheels that I really enjoy in skateboarding. So first off, the Nano Cubics have one key difference, right? They have a soft feeling and a hard feeling. So if you use them on like rougher terrain, it's meant to simulate a slightly softer wheel. But if you use them on stuff like a skate park where it's slightly smoother, you can still slide and get around and have the maneuverability of a slightly harder wheel, which I have to say is very much true. I doubted it at first and it did take me a little while to get used to it, coming from the Spitfire Formula 4s as my daily driver for like years now. But when it comes to that, I have to say the wheels get a big plus from me. Now there's one key difference between these and a normal shape of wheel, and this is something that I really like. So pulling up a bit closer so you can see, if you'll notice on these wheels right here, a normal conical shaped wheel, it's like flat on both sides, but this one you see has a slightly curved ramp on the side here, and that just covers the bolt. And this is great for doing stuff like freestyle tricks. For example, if you do a primo trick and your bolt is sticking out the side of the wheel, you're gonna be extremely wobbly when it comes to being stood on the side. It's a very niche type of trick, obviously, but for someone that does that kind of stuff, I appreciate having the bolt covered by the wheel. Andy Anderson talked about this in one of his videos, and it's a great touch that I don't think any wheels that at least I can think of have done this before. So 100% really like the shape of the wheel, but it does limit you in using them only this way. So if you want to have the wheel and the bolt covered, then all you have to do is use the wheel this way with the ramp on the side that's facing outwards. But on a normal wheel, right, you would have a slight what we call coning, where if you use the wheel too much on one side, it starts to look more like a traffic cone as it gets thin on one side and stays thick on the other, and at that point you would normally switch the wheel around to level it out. But on these ones, you can't really do that if you want to keep that same bolt coverage. But so far, 3 months in, and that's like of heavy skating. I've taken these to other countries. I've skated them every single day for at least an hour, trying to keep track of my fitness goals and stuff like that. So I've used them a lot, and so far, I think they haven't really started to cone at all. So I actually really enjoy them. And to be honest, the kind of skateboarding that I do hours-wise would probably last a normal person a year and a half before they get to this point. So the shape, very happy with that. So let's talk about how they feel and my first impressions. When I first put these on, coming from, like I said earlier, a 99 Duro Spitfire Formula 4, I'm used to being able to slide along the floor with ease. And to be honest, when I come to a new wheel, that's the first thing I test. How well can I revert? How well can I power slide? And usually that is the first tell that I can say if I'm going to use these wheels for a long term or if I'm going to ditch them and go back to my Spitfires. If these weren't able to do that for me, if they weren't feeling right, I would have immediately taken them off and gone back to the Spitfire. But these, at first, they did feel like they had a bit of resistance on the slide, but once you break them in, they do slide almost just as well as a 99 Duro Spitfire. And to be honest, when riding them on a slightly rougher surface, like I alluded to earlier in the video, they still hold up extremely well, better than a Spitfire on harder surface, and I would say 95% as good on the more skate park orientated smoother ground. So for example, I really like these in all scenarios. They're a big all-round wheel, and having tested them against the regular Dragon Formula, not the Nano Cubic version, I have to say, the Dragon Formula ones, I bought those, tried them for a bit, didn't really like them, felt they were a tiny bit too soft for my liking, like I wasn't reverting as well, but they did feel really smooth, which to be honest, I prefer a slightly harder wheel, but these are the perfect middle ground. Honestly, I can't big these up enough, to be honest. The only thing that I do have a slight quarrel with is the price, but then again, comparing them to the Dragon Formula, the normal ones, and the Spitfire Formula 4s, they're very much on par with that price. So unless you're complaining about the price of everything, very reasonable, to be honest. Like, obviously it's a more of an expensive wheel for a more experienced skateboarder, but if you're looking to upgrade your setup to one of the best wheels there possibly is, you honestly can't go wrong with the Andy Anderson Nano Cubics. Now, where do these wheels shine? I've said they're pretty good everywhere, but where do they really work optimally? I've skated them in the street, I've skated them on wooden skate parks, which by the way, if you've got a harder wheel on a wooden skate park, you'd normally slide around like Bambi on ice, but these hold up pretty damn well there as well. To be honest, in the skate park is where I would say that they're the best they could possibly be, because the ground, especially especially in the UK, can be of all descriptions. It can be rough, it can be smooth, it can be everything in between. So these really shine at a skate park. They work well in the street, they work well on wood. Honestly, if you're a skater that likes to get about and do a lot of different things, I would 100% recommend you try these. And again, if you're someone that is into freestyle tricks and does a lot of primo stands or anything like that, or rail stands, some people call them, then I would 100% recommend trying these for that too, because it's an unmatched quality. You don't get this in any other wheel. So am I going to daily drive these? To be honest, I am actually considering getting some for myself. As I said at the start of the video, my friend bought these and asked me to test them, and obviously he's gonna want them back now that I've fully tested them. I'm actually considering getting some. I'm probably gonna do a further test on my regular Dragon Formula wheels to get a real feeling for those, and then maybe test the Spitfire Sapphires, as I just bought a set of those off my friend who didn't really like them. So I'm probably gonna do a few more wheel tests over the next few months before we get into spring. But from now on, when I'm selecting my daily driver wheel for the summer and whatnot, when I really take skateboarding seriously, these are definitely going to be in the top contenders for consideration. Will I switch my Formula 4s for these? Only time will tell. I'll have to put the Formula 4s back on and see how they feel compared. But other than that, that's my opinion on the Nano Cubic Power Peralta Dragon Formula Andy Anderson wheels. Oh, and just the fact that you're supporting Andy by buying these is another bonus in the ballpark. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you want to see reviewed next.